hear me?
Yeah,
Hello, can you hear me, all of you? Please confirm once.
yeah,
Yeah, you just mute your audio so that I can start session. Mute your audio, all of you, please. Yeah, Suresh Gopi Yadav, please mute your audio. And yeah, I'm going to start today's session. Let's start today's session. So this is the first session of .NET Core. In this .NET Core package, I'm going to cover these subjects like C Sharp.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET, MVC, Entity Framework, then Web API. These all subjects I'm going to cover in .NET Core package. So it will take 4 months time to complete. So duration of the course is 4 months, sir, actually. Duration of the course is 4 months. Compulsory 4 months it will take to complete all these C Sharp.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET, MVC, and Entity Framework, Web API also. So every day session is going to be recorded, and same session recorded video will send to you Google Drive. So you have to download that video and watch the video at any number of times. It is lifetime access along with complete soft copy of PDF material. So first let's discuss. So what is C Sharp and what is ASP.NET, SQL Server, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. So after that we'll start with the .NET introduction part. Okay. So you know that .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET is the product of Microsoft. And .NET was released in the year of 2000. .NET was released in the year of 2000. The first version of .NET was released. The first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. From 2002 till 2022, there are so many versions of .NET. Here in .NET Core, so first I need to discuss what is the difference between framework and core only. So that means .NET framework is what, .NET core framework is what. In simple way, before 2016 only .NET framework was there. That means .NET was completely platform dependent. But after 2016, Microsoft has announced like .NET Core platform. That means .NET applications can able to run on any operating system. Like .NET framework is there and .NET Core framework is there. When we develop any application using .NET framework through, that application can able to run on only Windows operating system, like platform dependent. When we go for .NET Core platform, so that means once we design and develop .NET applications using .NET Core platform, we can able to develop, we can able to run that applications on any platform. Means platform independent only. So .NET Core applications makes .NET applications are platform independent, whereas .NET Framework applications makes .NET applications are platform independent, dependent only. So right now in our session completely, I'm going to cover .NET Core subjects related only. So all C# .NET Core with framework, with core framework ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET Core MVC, and ASP.NET Core Entity Framework and Web API. All are I'm going to cover.
मोबाइल में एक कॉल करो.
Please mute your audio. Hello. So coming to this .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework. So .NET Core Framework right now it is going so in the market. So we have to use .NET Core platform only. So every application implementation it is completely in MVC pattern only. So that too we are going to cover with MVC also. .NET Core MVC only. Core platform it is. Now in this .NET Core package, so these many subjects I have written now which I am going to cover. So what is these subjects? We have to know that. So to become a .NET programmer, compulsory you should have the basic knowledge,
Hello.
at least knowledge of C#.NET. Tell me, Mr. Arvind. Hello. Please mute your audio, Arvind.
Sir, could you please speak loudly?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. So here, once again, I'm going to repeat because of due to some low voice, many of them not got properly. So here, .NET Core is the basic package. Actually, this is in this .NET Core basic package. I'm going to cover C#, .NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET MVC, and Entity Framework, Web API. And I'll give you clarity in today lecture what is ASP.NET and what is C#.NET, how to work with them, what is the use of SQL Server, everything we'll discuss in detail. So first of all, let me give a small introduction of .NET. .NET is the product of Microsoft only. .NET was released in the year of 2000 and the first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. From 2002 till 2022, there was many versions are there. I'll explain that versions also. But before that what is the difference between .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework? .NET Framework as well as .NET Core Framework. See, when we use .NET Framework for developing .NET applications, these .NET Framework applications are platform dependent only. That means using .NET Framework applications, once we design and develop .NET applications that will run on only Windows operating system, which don't run on any operating system. But this is up to 2016 only. Microsoft has not released it up to 2016 .NET Core Framework. So after 2016, Microsoft introduced a .NET Core Framework. So using this .NET Core Framework, so we can build .NET application which will run on any operating system like Windows, Linux, Unix, and other operating system also we can able to run it. So ultimately what I mean to say, once we go for .NET Core Framework, .NET applications will run on any operating system like platform independent style. Once we go for .NET Framework, that means .NET applications are platform dependent style, only Windows operating system it will work. So I'm going to cover in my lectures all our .NET Core related stuff only, each and every subjects in the context of .NET Core only I'm going to cover. So these are the subjects which I'm going to cover, and duration of this course is completely 4 months, sir. 4 months it will take to complete. 4 months. So except this week I'm going to conduct demo session. Demo sessions means not entire the week, like first 4-5 days sessions you can consider as demo sessions. After that you can decide that, okay? And I'm talking about next week schedule. From the next week onwards, my plan is first 4-week daily, like Monday to Thursday, C#.NET I'm going to cover. And every Friday and Saturday, every Friday and Saturday, I'm going to cover SQL Server session, sir. Completely SQL Server session. SQL Server also very important for every .NET developer. Without SQL, we can't manage the things, especially in the .NET Core platform. The SQL is mandatory thing to learn, especially .NET. Those who wants to look forward for .NET job orientation, SQL Server is compulsory required because it's a product of Microsoft only. SQL Server is product of Microsoft. So first 4 days, Monday to Thursday, every week, like C#.NET sessions, and Friday and Saturday SQL Server sessions I'm going to cover. Okay. So Monday to Thursday, C#.NET, and every Friday and Saturday SQL Server. So if I go through like this C#.NET and SQL Server, after completion of the C# and SQL, then we should focus on completely ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. Because the reason is, to learn ASP.NET, compulsory prerequisite subject is C#.NET only. Without C#.NET, you can't learn ASP.NET. So that's the reason I strongly recommend to learn C#.NET before going to start with ASP.NET. And also in the ASP.NET, we should communicate with the database also, like SQL Server. So before starting ASP.NET, better to finish SQL Server and ASP C#.NET so that you will have the clarity. So using C#.NET only, we can write some logics, okay, application logics. So let me discuss what is C#.NET and what is ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, all these things, okay. And here I'm going to cover ADO.NET also here, including with ADO.NET, sir. So I have not included here, but let me cover ADO.NET because ADO.NET is related to .NET Framework only. This is just for communication from front-end application to back-end application. In the .NET Framework, programmers will use like ADO.NET. In Core Framework, programmers will use like Entity Framework Core only. So let's talk about what is C#.NET, okay? So C#.NET is a programming language. What is C#.NET? C#.NET is a programming language. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. Which is used to write logic part for the application development, sir. Logic part for the application development. Yes. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. Without C#.NET, we can't write any logic part and we cannot fulfill any .NET applications correctly. And what is ASP.NET here? No, what is ASP.NET here? And for your kind information, ASP.NET is not a programming language, sir. Okay. So ASP.NET stands for actually Active Server Page. Active Server Page.NET. So it's a web technology or server-side technology, we can call it. It's web technology or server-side technology, we can say that. Server-side technology. So generally using ASP.NET, we can develop what actually web applications. Web applications we can develop using ASP.NET. Active Server Page, ASP.NET stands for. It's a web technology or server-side technology, we can say. And using this web technology or server-side technology, we can develop what web applications. Web application means like online applications. Okay. So the applications which will provide services over the web is called web application. These web applications are very important. Our focus is completely on web applications only, especially with ASP.NET MVC. So ASP.NET is not a programming language. If you want to design web applications or if you want to write any coding part for the web application, compulsory C#.NET logic is required, sir. Without C#.NET logic, we can't build any web applications clearly. So let's try to understand the scenario here, sir. Just you can see Paint. I'm just opening Paint option and consider this example. This is my small user interface which I'm trying to create with labels and text boxes, username and password. And I'm just taking here text boxes are here. So this is what username and password, and this is username and password. After this, what I'm trying to do here, this is coming to this here login button. So this is actually how we can design web page using web page. How we can design this web page ASP.NET with UI also possible. UI means user interface, HTML, CSS, JavaScript like this only. But only ASP.NET design and only UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript is not sufficient to build a proper web application. But behind the scenes, now you can see in this inside the login button, we need to write some logic part, that is C#.NET logic part only. How we can write logic part means using C#.NET logic part. So C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. ASP.NET is a web technology or server-side technology which is used to design web applications only. But this is totally overall ASP.NET with the C#.NET logic. This is called front-end application, we can call it as. What application? Front-end application. So you can try to understand this is front-end. Front-end application means the application where end user can interact. This is called front-end applications. But whenever as a in front-end application, whatever username and password you are giving, and after that clicking on hit login button, immediately it will communicate with what? Database. That is called backend application, we can call this. Generally, database is nothing but what? Storage area. So where we can store the data, end user data, that is called database. And that database we can design by using SQL Server only. So this we can consider as a backend. But for this ASP.NET front end, backend is C#.NET also, but overall this is front end only. For this front end, backend is what? SQL Server only. So this is backend applications are here. So this is backend application. Backend application. So front-end application and back-end application can communicate with each other after login button. Click on login button. It will communicate with the database, username and password, whatever we enter in this design, and that will cross-verified with the database only. So this communication purpose, we use what actually ADO.NET generally, or else entity framework also we can use in the what we can say .NET core concept. So normally framework, if you are using .NET framework, we go for ADO.NET. ADO.NET stands for ActiveX Data Object. It is a communication medium only. Communication between front-end application to back-end and back-end application to front-end, like this. So C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. ASP.NET is a web technology or server-side technology. ASP.NET code is executed at server side only, but design is what? Client side only, like UI, user interface. In the UI design, we are going to discuss basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap, especially in the ASP.NET core context, I'll discuss completely. So SQL Server is the database because compulsory customer information or end user information we need to store into separate place, that is called database only. So database is used to store end user information or customer information into separate storage area, that is called database only. So that is SQL Server. So these are the subjects which I am going to cover, sir. C#.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server. SQL Server is for what actually? Database design purpose. Database design. SQL Server is for database design. So this is storage area, also we can call it as storage area, means permanent storage area. So client information we can store that. ADO.NET stands for ActiveX Data Object. ActiveX Data Object. So it is communication medium from front-end application to back-end application. Communication medium. Communication medium. So communication medium, we can use communication medium is ADO.NET here, but ADO.NET in communication medium, it will not actually, this is, we can also call it as native driver, sir. It is native driver, or sometimes we can say communication medium or middleman services, like that. Native driver software. So generally, if you are working with the .NET framework software, then we can go for ADO.NET. But if you are working with the .NET core software, then entity framework we use, EF. Entity framework, we can say that. Entity framework. Entity framework can be used as a mediator, which is communication from front-end application to back-end applications with the .NET core framework only. .NET core framework. So .NET core framework, when we use, entity framework is going to be takes place. If you are using .NET framework, means not core framework, then we can go for ADO.NET. So both with the .NET framework, ADO.NET communication also I can do with SQL Server. With the .NET core framework, entity framework relations also I can maintain with SQL Server. Both, if I can show, so it will be clear in real time. So once you are a .NET programmer, you should have the knowledge on all the aspects, how to communicate using .NET framework from front-end application to back-end application. At the same time, how to communicate using .NET core framework from front-end application to back-end application with entity framework relations. So you are going to learn a lot more subjects in this session's 4 months duration. C# we are going to learn. ASP.NET you are going to learn. SQL Server complete. And SQL Server means, don't think so I'm going to cover only basics of SQL Server, sir. I'm going to cover all the advanced concepts also related to SQL Server, like joins, stored procedures, triggers, cursors, views, indexers, okay, constraints, identity, lot of operations we can do with SQL Server. So SQL Server, not basics. Minimum 20 sessions I'll conduct SQL Servers, only SQL Server related. That's what every weekend, Friday, Saturday, we should focus on SQL Server topics only, sir. And C Sharp and SQL parallel sessions are going to happen every week. Monday to Thursday, C Sharp.net, and every Friday and Saturday, SQL Server concepts I'm going to discuss. Once I complete successfully a C Sharp with SQL Server, then we'll go for ASP.NET Focus. That is completely web development only. Once I start web development, ASP.NET concepts, all I'm going to cover with MVC platform only. MVC means Model View Controller. So here, model represent database, view represent presentation, controller represent logic actually. So we will discuss in detail later, ASP.NET MVC later. So I'm saying just clearly, completely ASP.NET lectures are going to happen with model view controller along with entity framework along with web API. So once I start ASP.NET, these all coming on the flow one by one clearly. But without knowing C Sharp knowledge, without having SQL Server knowledge, you can't move to ASP.NET clearly. That's the reason my focus is in the initial days, like first we should focus on C Sharp with SQL Server. So once after completion, then only we can go for ASP.NET related stuff only. So you are going to learn ASP.NET Core MVC, not ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET Core MVC, ASP.NET Core Entity Framework, ASP.NET Core Web API. As I said, that core platform means it is platform independent. Once we build application like ASP.NET Web applications on core platform, that can be able to run on any operating system without fail. But when we go for only ASP.NET with framework, that can be run on only Windows operating system. Okay, that you can mind it. And this is the only subject introduction which I discuss in this session. So C Sharp, ASP, SQL, Server, ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, ADO.NET along with this. These are the subjects I'm going to cover. It takes 4 months durations are compulsory. Below 4 months, I can't able to finish it. So if anybody is having some requirement like within 2 months or 1 month means I can't able to finish, sir. You can go through any other options once you have, because these are the heavy subjects. So if you need subject means you must and should spend lot of time on it. So compulsory you should attend regularly. Okay. Anyway, if you attend regularly or missing the topics, whatever that is your wish. But once you join, you should try to attend regularly. But anyway, from our end, everyday sessions I'm going to conduct. After conduction of sessions, same recorded video we will send to your Google Drive. That video you can watch it and practice it and download it also. And along with that, completely C Sharp, ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, complete PDFs I'm going to provide to you. So these are the PDF I have already here. Let me show you complete PDFs here. So these are the PDFs are here. ASP.NET Core MVC PDF is there. ASP.NET with .NET Framework PDF is there. C Sharp.NET PDF is there. SQL Server PDF is there. These PDFs I can hand over it to you subject wise when I start these all sessions clearly. So this is about basic introduction which I covered today's session. So ASP.NET is completely designed tool only. Using ASP.NET we can build web applications. And most importantly, I forgot to tell you, before going to ASP.NET, UI basics also I'm going to cover, sir. UI basics. UI basics means like HTML, I'm going to cover CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. jQuery is optional, not compulsory. Bootstrap is important because we are going to use in ASP.NET Bootstrap also. HTML makes to design any ASP.NET web page. Okay, HTML tags are compulsory required, sir. Here HTML, especially in ASP.NET context, HTML tag helpers are there, ASP.NET tag helpers are there. In that context, we can go for HTML tag helper, sometimes ASP.NET tag helpers also. Using HTML, we can build, we can create web pages like static web pages, dynamic web pages, along with JavaScript. If you want to do styling for your HTML web pages, then we can go for CSS, cascading style sheets, we can say that. Or if after creating HTML web pages and CSS style sheet, Do you want to provide any functionality for your application? Then JavaScript is required. JS is there, JavaScript. JavaScript is used to make dynamic content. Means you can perform actions using JavaScript only. So jQuery, Bootstrap, these two are advanced UI technologies which are designed and developed by using this HTML, CSS, JavaScript only. So jQuery, Bootstraps are advanced UI technologies. These two are implemented by using HTML, okay, CSS, JavaScript only implemented. So jQuery is the extension of JavaScript. Bootstrap is the extension of CSS with JavaScript only. So once we know that Bootstrap, jQuery, how to use it in our application, so most of the cases in ASP.NET designing, we are going to use Bootstrap links only. So directly official Bootstrap link is there, getbootstrap.com, jQuery.com. Okay. From there, we can able to use the links with the CDN and as well as through locally. So this is just a basic introduction which I covered, sir. So .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework. Difference is .NET Framework through if you learn .NET subjects, that's make very easy. And .NET Framework applications all are platform dependent style. So which will be run on only one particular operating system, Windows. And when we learn .NET subjects all related to .NET Core platform, that means .NET Core platform, this makes .NET applications are platform independent only. Means you can run .NET applications on any operating system without fail. That is the advantage of .NET Core. So as I said that .NET was released in the year of 2000. First version of .NET released in 2002. But there are so many framework versions are there. .NET framework versions and .NET Core framework versions also there. So one thing you can strictly remember, you are going to learn in this session like .NET Core syllabus only completely. Core concepts I'm going to cover. I'm not going to cover any .NET framework sessions. So I will cover .NET framework only in the context of C#.NET and also ADO.NET context only. Remaining context all when it comes to ASP.NET completely my lecture should be on .NET Core platform only, so that you will get both idea, framework idea and core framework idea also you'll get, that is. So this is the subjects which I'm going to cover and duration, and every day session is going to be recorded, sir. Now this session also recording is available in future, like once you enroll for this course, you will get recorded video along with soft copy of material. And now it times to what we can say, your turn. If you have any questions and any doubts regarding this session, and you can feel free to talk to me now, or else you can type your question in the chat box so I can give you answer clearly. This is very, very simple and basic demo session. I didn't cover anything in this session, just basic rules and regulations and what subjects I'm going to cover in our complete .NET Core package. So what is .NET? what is programming language you are going to learn? C#.NET. So ultimately in all these subjects, one programming language you are going to learn, that is C#.NET, sir. So you can claim from your side you are the C#.NET developer after completion of classes. So C#.NET is most powerful programming language in entire .NET supporting languages, because .NET supporting languages are many, like C#, VB, J#, F#, okay, Windows, PowerShell, Iron, Ruby, like so and so. Many programming languages support by .NET framework, but it is one of the topmost programming language, that is C#.NET only. Even in real-time environment also, most of the .NET application programmer recommend to learn C#.NET only, not other languages like VB, J#, F# and so on. So this is about very basic demo session, sir. So in this session, even I have not give the introduction of .NET completely. In tomorrow, I'm going to give complete .NET introduction. What are the components are there? Whenever we start writing the code using .NET platform, how code is going to execute, how code is going to be start the process, everything we'll discuss in detail, don't worry. So this is just an overview I'm giving in this session. So any subject related, like these many subjects I'm going to cover, no, all related with the .NET Core platform. Any questions you have, you can feel free to ask me. I'll wait for here few minutes. Or else if you have any questions you are unable to ask, that you can type in chat box question. I'll read it and I'll give you reply clearly. Tomorrow you will get the clarity. So why .NET? What is exactly .NET? Where we use .NET, application area of .NET, execution process, everything we'll discuss in detail. And finally, I will disclose in tomorrow which editor tool is required, what software configuration is required using .NET, we will discuss in detail. Okay. So that's all from my side today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now.
So, hi sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So only
Tell me.
uh, .NET only .NET వాటికి ప్యాకేజ్ ఎంత తీసుకుంటారు C# .NET కి ఓన్లీ C#.
See that things I can't disclose right now on the flow, so on the recorded. So you can please
Oh,
contact our Durga soft team. They will assist you clearly. And also, once you complete this session after meeting, then they will send a mail to you clearly, so you can talk to them better. Okay?
okay sir.
Yeah. Any questions, Mr. Mohammed, Roja Rani, Sheikh, Mallikarjun?
So in this session, console applications also covered, na?
Yes, console applications, Windows Forms applications, ASP.NET Web applications, MVC applications, Web API, Entity Framework applications, all things will cover.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
Yeah. All object-oriented programming related stuff I'm going to cover with console application, and ADO.NET related stuff I'm going to cover with Windows Forms application, and ASP.NET MVC web application through I will cover complete ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, all these things. That is web designing, web technologies. Even projects also we will go through ASP.NET way only.
Sir, career path, can you explain brief?
Career path means what is the role in .NET actually. Career path, career wise it will be ultimately excellent, no doubt at all, no doubt on it. So because you are looking outside means if you go through outside market and very good opportunities, especially on .NET Core platform or .NET MVC platform also, in Web API cases also, no doubt at all. But once we keep the experience, at least 2 to 3 years experience, it will be more better. And as a fresher also, there are so many companies are hiring .NET developers only. So undoubtedly no issues career wise.
Sir, .NET Core is open software.
Yeah, open software because it is a platform independent, no? So it can be able to run on any operating system. But .NET Core framework is a open software. But actually, when it comes to Visual Studio, no, we are going to write code in Visual Studio only. So Visual Studio community is a completely open source and free editions only. But professional and enterprise editions are completely license only. You should take license from Microsoft. But as a student point of view, learning point of view, no need to buy it. Only community is enough. But anyway, you are going to work with companies and company people are maintaining team size varies medium and large scale, then they need to buy that original product from Microsoft only.
Sir, can I keep 3+ experience for your training?
Obviously, no doubt at all.
Okay, sir.
But you should have the gap only. Without gap, we cannot make it. Once you have a gap, then you can make it clearly. But only ultimately you should prepare subject strongly, and that real-time scenarios, how to write it. Anyway, we are going to write the code completely in real-time scenarios through only. So that will be good, no issues. So any question? Please go ahead. And for more details, please try to join tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll continue from here. Today, just very basic things I discussed. I have not entered any introduction part also, because I need to give the subject clarity, which I'm going to cover in these lectures. So you will have one clarity. So from tomorrow onwards, complete introduction and what is that making setup of our .NET coding part. So where to write, how to write, and all of these things we'll discuss. Once I finish that, then I'll start with C#.NET coding part only. Once I start coding part, then my lectures will be completely through coding only. And every day session is recorded. That recorded video also we will send to your Google Drive. That is recorded videos completely downloadable, sir. I'm giving permission for lifetime access, no expiration date, and no renewal process like that. So you can watch it anytime. And complete PDF materials also will send according to our subjects. When I start C#.NET, complete C#.NET material I'll send at once. After that SQL Server also I'll send it once. When I start ASP.NET, that material I'll send it once. So you can also priorly practice it. No need to wait for my lectures also if anybody wants to do that. Yeah, that's all for today, sir. Have a nice time. Thanks for attending this lecture. Hope we'll meet tomorrow again. So if you're really interested to join these meetings or to learn .NET, so don't skip the session at least 3-4 days, so that then only you can get clarity. So after that you can decide, okay, whether you are in or out, you can decide it. So please continue 3 days or 4 days lectures, that will be clear, so that you will get one idea. So how I'm going to deal with you. So it will be good. So that's all for now. See you tomorrow. Have a nice time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me, Kondal Rao.
Is only offline, sir, and online. Offline course ఇప్పుడు start అవుతుంది మళ్ళీ.
No, there is no offline for my batches at Durga Soft Solution, because I'm busy with Python full stack at offline sessions, morning to evening, but only evening when it comes to when I reach to my home, I'm going to deal with only .NET full courses late night only, like 8, 9, 10, like this only. There is no offline batches of mine at Durga Soft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, session time it will take 1 hour or 2 hours, sir?
No, daily 1 hour, 7 to 8 exactly.
Okay.
So because after 8 I have other sessions are there, so I can't able to do it. But compulsory it take 4 months time, sir. If any thing, any case like 4 months is not going to happen, means I'll take weekend sessions some long time, so that we'll cover it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, let's start today's session. So in the last session, okay, we just discussed about only introduction to .NET and what subjects I covered in .NET core package we were discussed. So those who are new to my session today, I request you please watch my first video in our YouTube channel, like Durga Soft YouTube channel. Okay, so even our team will send a link, that video link after completion of sessions. so that you can able to watch my first lecture. So this is the second lecture of .NET Core, sir. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss complete introduction in detailed versioning, application area, what type of applications we can develop using .NET we'll discuss. But before that, for new students, so let me explain what subjects I'm going to cover. So after that, we'll go for complete introduction to .NET. So this session is completely belongs to .NET Core. In this .NET Core, I'm going to cover these many subjects like C#, .NET, ASP.NET Core, and ASP.NET Core MVC, Model View Controller, Entity Framework, Web API, and completely next SQL Server, and ADO.NET also I'm going to cover along with the .NET Framework. So using .NET Framework, I'm going to cover ADO.NET. Using Core Framework, I'm going to cover Entity Framework, so that you will get idea about how to handle with the ADO.NET and also how to handle with the Entity Framework code, so to communicate with SQL Server. As I said in the last session, so in this all subjects, we are going to learn one programming language that is called C#.NET. So every .NET programmer must and should aware of at least programming language idea that is called C#. So why C#? Because .NET supports lots of programming languages like C#.NET, VB.NET, J#, F#, Windows PowerShell, and so on. But C# is the most recommended language in entire the .NET applications, because maximum applications and maximum companies will use C#.NET to implement their .NET applications. So once a person or students know that C#.NET coding styles, they can handle easily with ASP.NET, MVC, Web API, everywhere we can use C#.NET only. So C#.NET is a major part in .NET entirely. So you should have the knowledge of C#.NET compulsory before going to continue with ASP.NET Core and MVC, Web API, Entity Framework. And SQL Server, any point of time you can able to learn it. There is no prerequisite to learn SQL Server. So in our lectures also from the next week onwards, I'll implement this. Not this week just demo sessions. And next week onwards, my plan is every Monday to Thursday, C#.NET sessions will conduct like 4 days per week. And every Friday and Saturday, SQL Server sessions I'll conduct. SQL Server means completely around 20 sessions I'll conduct. In detailed SQL Server concepts I'll discuss, not about only basics. Okay. So if you know the programming knowledge and SQL Server like database knowledge, then it will be easy to handle with ASP.NET, all MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. So SQL Server is for database tool. This is also product of Microsoft. Majority of the .NET applications will have the SQL Server as a backend application. And ADO.NET stands for ActiveX Data Object here. This is a native driver software. It is used to communicate from front-end application to back-end application. Generally, front-end design we can do with ASP.NET using HTML. And logic we can write coding part C#.NET. So C# with ASP combination is called front-end. And SQL Server is what actually backend only. C# is the combination of front-end with ASP.NET. SQL Server is what actually backend application, we can say that. That is. So SQL Server knowledge also compulsory required once you start develop the .NET applications. Next, in ASP.NET, we will focus on completely web application development. Websites we can design using MVC architecture, Model View Controller. So nowadays, MVC architecture is most popular in every web development. So you are going to learn MVC architecture only. So that too with the .NET Core framework only. As I said in my last lecture, .NET Framework means it makes platform dependent, which will run on only Windows operating system. .NET Core means core framework means which will make .NET applications or platform independent, means it can be run on any operating system clearly. It's a completely multiple operating system it will work on. Similarly, like Java. Java is how it was platform independent. Same when we go for core framework, .NET Core framework, it's make platform independent or applications. So this is what I discussed in the last session. And even to complete all these subjects, including UI basics, sir, actually. UI basics, UI technologies basics means HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript plus jQuery, okay, and Bootstrap. So how to handle these all these things in ASP.NET? Before going to start with ASP.NET Core, will conduct few sessions about UI technologies, means user interface technologies, especially in the designing kind of things we can do with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap. These also I'm going to cover basics of UI technologies, how much it is required for ASP.NET. Okay, because every web developer, every web application need HTML, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap. This styling is required. Mostly we will use Bootstrap more in ASP.NET Core. So these subjects I'm going to cover, sir. 4 months duration is compulsory, as I said that. Okay, 4 months duration, and every day session is going to record. And today also it's going to record. Yesterday also it was recorded video available. I have downloaded already. So once your registration is completed, I can start share the recording lectures to your Google Drive, and all